Americans are used to having access to abundant, relatively inexpensive energy. Most of us take for granted that we will be able to light up a room, adjust the temperature of our homes, or start our cars with the turn of a switch. The United States uses more energy than any other country. While we make up only 4.5% of the world's population, we use 20% of the world's energy. The problem isn't just the amount of energy we consume, but also where it comes from. The United States gets 80% of its energy from fossil fuels, like oil, natural gas, and coal, which are not only bad for the environment, but will eventually run out. Less than 9% of our energy comes from renewables, like wind, solar, and hydroelectric, and less than 8% is from nuclear energy. 40% of the oil America uses is imported from other countries, with almost 1/3 coming from a cartel based in the Persian Gulf. This has drawn us into uncomfortable alliances and military engagements that have cost thousands of American lives. Approaches to America's complex energy problem have been piecemeal, and possible solutions have been mired in political wrangling. We are now facing the consequences of an ever-increasing demand for an ever-dwindling supply of fossil fuels. It's time to come to grips with a key question. What should we do to meet our current energy needs, as well as those of our children and grandchildren? We'll look at 3 approaches to consider when deliberating America's energy future. These options are rooted in common concerns expressed by actual citizens. Each option suggests actions we could take to move forward, but each action comes with trade-offs to consider. So, let's look at our options. Option 1. Produce the energy we need to maintain our way of life. This option says we could bring down our foreign trade deficit and reduce our involvement in military conflicts by tapping into more of our own abundant fossil fuel resources. By producing more of our own energy, we could turn to friendly sources like Canada for the remainder of our imported oil. To do this, lawmakers and the President could agree on a bill to approve construction of an oil pipeline from Canada. It would bring in about 830,000 barrels of crude oil, and the pipeline's construction would also provide American jobs. But opponents say that burning Canada's so-called dirty oil will accelerate climate change. And once the pipeline is completed, only about 50 workers will be needed to maintain it. What if the government relaxed restrictions and allowed companies to increase offshore oil drilling and horizontal hydraulic fracturing, or fracking, to extract more natural gas from underground rock deposits? Energy companies could also invest in cleaner coal-burning technologies, or we could build more nuclear energy facilities in the U.S. But environmental threats from mining and oil spills put marine and natural habitats at risk and damage tourism and fishing industries. Fracking can pollute drinking water and trigger earthquakes, and coal mining causes environmental devastation in the areas near the mines. Nuclear reactors generate radioactive waste and hold the potential for large-scale disasters. Could we live with those trade-offs? Option 2. Put more renewables and clean energy into the mix. This view holds that our use of fossil fuels is damaging the environment and our energy independence. In the not-too-distant future, our supplies of coal, oil, and natural gas will simply run out. This option says that the sooner we switch to renewable sources of energy, the better off we will be. Homeowners could help generate some of their own renewable energy by installing solar panels on their property. But not everyone can afford the cost of solar panels, and the payback in energy bill savings could take years to realize. Utility companies could increase construction of wind and solar farms or build turbines powered by wave action. But offshore generators can spoil views on coastlines, and the energy they produce is not competitive in price. Wind turbines are noisy and can kill wildlife, and solar arrays are only efficient in areas that get lots of sun. What if the government offered more incentives to car manufacturers to develop fuel cell technology? The drawback is fuel cell cars wouldn't be useful unless we built an infrastructure of hydrogen gas stations to fuel them. Could we live with that? Option 3. Find ways to use less energy. This view says the most practical way to deal with our current energy problems is not to produce more energy, but to use less by being more energy efficient. Americans could start by wasting less energy in their homes, offices, and vehicles. Governments and utility companies could reward individuals for being more efficient with their energy use. But some people may not be able to afford new appliances, and lifestyle changes like turning down thermostats, taking shorter showers, and driving less can be hard to implement. What if governments imposed higher gas taxes to encourage people to drive less? The taxes could help pay for repairs to our deteriorating infrastructure. But taxes could stymie economic growth and would hit poor people the hardest. Finally, governments could require better gas mileage for vehicles, and individuals could trade in their gas guzzlers for more fuel-efficient cars. But these restrictions would limit consumers' choices, and many families can't afford to replace older cars. Could we live with these trade-offs? To take charge of America's energy future, citizens need to balance important personal and economic decisions. What actions or combination of actions can we take to keep energy affordable, protect our environment, and maintain the lifestyles we want? Deliberation on how to meet our current energy needs and those of future generations will require us to weigh trade-offs against those things we hold most valuable. It may not be easy, but this is the difficult, rewarding work of citizenship. So, let's get talking.